Dr. Sage here. Welcome back for our conclusion on the tissue level of organization. Today's topic, overview of muscle and nervous tissues. By the end of this video, you should be able to identify the three types of muscle tissue, compare and contrast the functions of each muscle tissue type, explain how muscle tissue can enable motion, identify the classes of cells that make up nervous tissue, and discuss how nervous tissue mediates perception and response. Muscle tissue is characterized by properties that allow movement. Muscle cells are excitable, in other words, they respond to a stimulus, and they are contractile, meaning that they can shorten and generate a pulling force. When attached between two movable objects, in other words, bones, contractions of the muscles cause the bones to move. Some muscle movement is voluntary, which means that it is under conscious control. For example, a person decides to open a book and read a chapter on anatomy. Other movements are involuntary, meaning they are not under conscious control, such as the contraction of your pupil in bright light. Muscle tissues are classified into three types according to structure and function: skeletal, cardiac, and smooth. Skeletal muscle is attached to bones, and its contraction makes possible locomotion, facial expressions, posture, and other voluntary movements of the body. 40% of your body mass is made up of skeletal muscle. Skeletal muscles generate heat as a byproduct of their contraction and thus participate in thermal homeostasis. Shivering is an involuntary contraction of skeletal muscles in response to perceived lower than normal body temperature. The muscle cell, or myocyte, develops from myoblasts derived from the mesoderm. Myocytes and their numbers remain relatively constant throughout life. Skeletal muscle tissue is arranged in bundles surrounded by connective tissue. Under the light microscope, muscle cells appear striated, with many nuclei squeezed along the membranes. The striation is due to the regular alternation of the contractile proteins actin and myosin, along with the structural proteins that couple the contractile proteins to connective tissues. The cells are multinucleated as a result of the fusion of many myoblasts that fuse to form each long muscle fiber. Cardiac muscle forms the contractile walls of the heart. The cells of cardiac muscle, known as cardiomyocytes, also appear striated under the microscope. Unlike skeletal muscle fibers, cardiomyocytes are single cells typically with a single centrally located nucleus. A principal characteristic of cardiomyocytes is that they contract on their own intrinsic rhythms without any external stimulation. Cardiomyocytes attach to one another with specialized cell junctions called intercalated discs. Intercalated discs have both anchoring junctions and gap junctions. Attached cells form long, branching cardiac muscle fibers that are essentially a mechanical and electrochemical syncytium, allowing the cells to synchronize their actions. The cardiac muscle pumps blood through the body and is under involuntary control. The attachment junctions hold the adjacent cells together across the dynamic pressure changes of the cardiac cycle. Smooth muscle tissue contraction is responsible for involuntary movements in the internal organs. It forms a contractile component of the digestive, urinary, and reproductive systems, as well as the airways and arteries. Each cell is a spindle-shaped with a single nucleus and no visible striation. So in summary, skeletal muscles form long cylindrical fibers, striated, many peripherally located nuclei. Their function is involuntary movement, produces heat, and protects organs, and their location is attached to bones around entrance points to the body. The cardiac tissue look like short, branched, striated single central nucleus. Their function is it contracts to pump blood, and its location is the heart. The smooth muscle, its appearance is short, spindle-shaped, no evident striation, single nucleus in each fiber. Its function is involuntary movement. It moves food, involuntary control of respiration, moves secretions, regulates flow of blood in arteries by contraction. Its location is walls of major organs and passageways. Nervous tissue is characterized as being excitable and capable of sending and receiving electrochemical signals that provide the body with information. Two main classes of cells make up nervous tissue: neurons and neuroglia. Neurons propagate information via electrochemical impulses called action potentials, which are biochemically linked to the release of chemical signals. Neuroglia play an essential role in supporting neurons and modulating their information propagation. Neurons display distinctive morphology, well suited to their role as conducting cells, with three main parts. The cell body includes most of the cytoplasm, the organelles, and the nucleus. The dendrites branch off of the cell body and appear as thin extensions. A long tail, the axon, extends from the neuron body and can be wrapped in an insulating layer known as myelin, which is formed by accessory cells. The synapse is a gap between nerve cells or between a nerve cell and its target, for example, a muscle or a gland, across which the impulse is transmitted by chemical compounds known as neurotransmitters. Neurons, categorized as multipolar neurons, have several dendrites and a single prominent axon. Bipolar neurons possess a single dendrite and axon with the cell body, while unipolar neurons have only a single process extending out from the cell body, which divides into a functional dendrite and into a functional axon. When a neuron is sufficiently stimulated, it generates an action potential that propagates down the axon towards the synapse. If enough neurotransmitters are released at the synapse to stimulate the next neuron or target, a response is generated. The second class of neural cells comprises the neuroglia or glial cells, which have been characterized as having a simple support role. Recent research is shedding light onto the more complex role of the neuroglia and the function of the brain and nervous system. Astrocyte cells, named for the distinctive star shape, are abundant in the central nervous system. The astrocytes have many functions, including the regulation of ion concentration in the intracellular space, uptake and or breakdown of some neurotransmitters, and formation of the blood-brain barrier, the membrane that separates the circulatory system from the brain. Microglia protect the nervous system against infection, but are not nervous tissue because they are related to macrophages. Oligodendrocyte cells produce myelin in the central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord, while the Schwann cell produces myelin in the peripheral nervous system. This has been your overview of muscle and nervous tissues, which we'll get into more details in later lectures. This is also the conclusion of our introduction to the tissue level organization. Until next time, this has been Dr. Sage.